We are going to have a fun episode here today. If you like building stuff, laughing at other people's mistakes, and ultimately having triumph, you might dig this episode. We are going to be installing the cooling system on our 73 Ford Bronco that we recently did a 302 roller motor swap on out of a Fox Body Mustang. Hope you enjoy. So here's our gray wire that transitions into the purple wire that goes from the distributor to our main harness. So I've got to make sure that she has enough distance from all these other wires that could create noise in the system and cause us problems. So we've got to reroute her. So originally we had it routed up on the top of the fender, but that's where a lot of our wires are going. So I don't think that's going to be the best. Thinking instead, I want to go up along the edge of the valve cover. That way we're on the top of the engine and then we can just swoop right under the water neck and plug her in. I like this. I'm going to throw some sleeving on this so that it's protected, and then we'll get it in place. All of our TechFlex sleeving, heat shrink, and connectors, and the heat gun came from wirecare.com. If you guys are wiring stuff and you need components, check those guys out. They have awesome products. And reconnected there. The only thing she's close to now are the plug wires, which we definitely need to build brackets to hold them up and away from the valve cover. I've got kind of a weird idea to try, just to see if I can get these up off away without going and buying a bracket. I've got one of my zip ties, which these zip ties are rad. They also come from WireCare. They've got ticks all the way down the zip tie. So some zip ties that you buy only can tighten for like a portion of the zip tie. These tighten all the way down, which is so nice. Okay. I mean, that's pretty sturdy in there, especially with the plug wires all secured in that holder. I don't hate it. It seems like it's not gonna fall out. That's pretty goofy. I think we'll see what Aaron says about that when he comes back in, but I like it. I zipped a zip tie to the inside of one of these and stuck it in one of the holes of the breather.
That'll work.
This will definitely work to keep it up off that purple wire.
We're going to be able to crank it up, I know that.
Okay, let's keep going. The next task we're rolling right into is mounting our transmission cooler. That is a unit from Hayden that we got from our friends at GearStar. So this came with the transmission in that big, beautiful wooden box that we received because we feel like cooling is highly important on such a bad-to-the-bone transmission. So we did not find a really easy way to mount this on the Bronco, so we're going to build some brackets to attach to the core support so that we can mount this thing right in front of the radiator so it gets maximum cooling. We think that'll be real good. So Aaron's working on the bracketry right now. Alrighty, it's my turn to make my contribution to this bracket. So I've got both of our strap steel pieces here, and I'm going to get them measured exactly centered with our transcooler and make some marks and drill some holes so that we can get the transcooler mounted to the uprights, and then we will install it to the core support from there.
So we're cut off the forehead. Sweet.
Mounted.
Let's throw it in there and try to center it. That's it. That's where it's going to be.
I'm going to get the vacuum advance plumbed up and then get out of his way. And that hose is on the back side of the throttle body, right where the vacuum advance goes for the distributor. Perfect.
Okay, it's tacked. Now let's try the radiator again. Plenty of room.
Yeah, it's got so much clearance.
It's good. I'm gonna pull this trans cooler back out because that's aluminum and I don't want to drop something on there and then it burn through it. But also we're gonna paint those brackets up and get rid of all the exposed metal. Got it. You should always wear your welding helmet. I put mine on a minute ago and the battery's dead. It's solar powered, so I just have to do the little spot welds and close my eyes. But that's not a good idea. Don't do that.
Don't do what Aaron does. All right, on to the next task, which is trans cooler lines. These fittings right here came in the transmission and we pulled them out because they were for a hard line. So we are not going to do hard lines, we are going to do these instead. This is a -6 or a number 6 AN, and this will go right into the side of the trans. And then we've got these 90s that allow us to push a hose on here and use a hose clamp. So we've got the pressure and the return, and we are going to install those on the side of the transmission and get us some lines running from the trans cooler. Let's do it. Both fittings are in and second 90 going in. Okay, we have our fittings tight that connect to the transmission, and now it's time to get our hose clamps up top. Hopefully we get all this in here and secured and the radiator still clears. That's always so frustrating when you think you're set and then you go to install the next part and it doesn't fit, so. Hopefully we don't run into any kind of craziness with that. Hoses to the trans cooler are tight. Alrighty. As you can see, we have the Bronco's exhaust system all laid out on these sawhorses. We actually just finished installing these fresh flanges. Ours were completely rusted out, and the flanges to bolt them up to the headers were not even gonna seal at all. So Aaron just threw those on there. Eventually we'll replace all of this with nice fresh stuff, but for now, we are going to throw an O2 sensor in here. Here is our bung that we're gonna weld in. The Holley Sniper kit comes with one that you can just drill a hole for, and it comes with clamps and everything, but our exhaust size is too small for the clamps, so we just decided to get one of these puppies to weld in so that we can get a good O2 reading for it to be able to self-learn and all that good stuff. So that's the plan now. Let's do it. So our instructions tell us to get this O2 sensor 6 to 10 inches from the flange. They want it to install at a 10-degree angle, pointing downward. They don't want it at the bottom, obviously, because they don't want any moisture on the sensor. So we're going to install it right about here. I think that's where we'll drill our hole. Let me give myself a little head start here, especially with the curvature of this pipe. If only I had better aim.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in.
Okay.
It's in, it's in.
We'll clean that up and get a weld on it.
Sweet! Don't wear shorts while welding. That's silly. Rear hangers going on. All right, here's our O2 sensor that came with our Holley Sniper kit. They've already anti-seized the threads. It's going in. I've got a crescent roll. Oh, it's not a crescent roll, it's a crescent wrench. Okay, whatever you say. Nice and tight. With my lovely weld there just hanging out. Oh Lord. And here is our plug. We'll get this wire all fixed up to where it isn't discombobulated. I'm gonna tuck her up in there, right there. Calling it good. Let's lower it down. We're so eager to get the cooling system in this Bronco. We are such dorks and ordered the wrong radiator brackets. We ordered them for the 3-core instead of for the 4-core, and the cold case radiator is thicker like a 4-core radiator would be. So, because we don't have those in yet, and we are so ready and done with waiting on getting this coolant system in so we can hit the key, we're going to rig the radiator in here until the brackets come in. Then we will be able to slide them in, lock them in place, and the radiator will be good to go after that. So we have some mounting points down here that are metal and not ideal for the bottom of our beautiful cold case radiator to sit on. So I just grabbed these 2 mechanics wear gloves, and I'm going to slide the glove onto the mounting point so that we have a nice, soft, leathery material for the radiator to sit on so that we can hit the key. It ain't right, but we're gonna do it. We've got heater hose. Got one that goes to the intake and one that goes to the water pump. We're gonna get those connected and then move on to the radiator.
Whatever you want to call it.
I love these hose cutters. One more clamp to tighten. Sweet. Mechanics wear gloves. The new radiator mounts. Aren't they beautiful? Okay. Got that. Woo. Coming in hot. Ain't she a dandy? Okay, I'm gonna go get coolant.
Sweet.
It is coolant time. Here are a handful of reasons why we choose Peak 5050 10X. You do not have to mix this. This is pre-mixed. You don't have to add water. You don't have to figure out ratios. You just dump it in your radiator. Another reason we love it is because it's good for all makes and models. European, Asian, and North American vehicles all can take this coolant. It is why we keep virtually cases of this stuff around, because we have all makes and models in our shop and we need that flexibility. Okay, you guys. My petcock is tight, lower radiator hose is tight, upper radiator hose is tight, both heater hoses are tight. We do not have brackets, but it's just kind of being held in place by its own radiator hoses. We've got the brackets on order. We're not gonna drive it like this. We're just gonna crank it up because we wanna hear this thing fire. Yeah, let's do it. Alrighty. Drink up, little lady. Something tells me it's all of a sudden gonna be full and just start spilling all over the floor. Of course, I know we'll need to add more after the engine cranks up and cycles coolant, but once we get the radiator full, that'll be a big step. Where is that coming from? Oh, I see it, I see it. It's like gathering on the water pump.
Something's going on there. New gasket. It could be that those bolts are just a tiny bit too long, but they're the ones that came out of the old one, so I wouldn't think that they would be too long.
I guess we pull it off and check my surfaces.
Well, I guess let's drain at least some of the coolant out. Full thermostat housing. Start over.
Okay. Thermostat didn't seat all the way or something?
Could be. I'm not sure if there's like a cut in there for it. If it slid down, that could be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it did slip.
So I'm gonna try to find a gasket.
Okay, yeah,
Cool.
let's look in the Bronco box.
That's an easy fix.
Well, we couldn't find a freaking gasket in our gasket box, so we're gonna have to wait until the morning to go to the parts store and grab a gasket. Dang it! We'll see y'all in the morning. Ready to go in the house? Let's go in the house. Back in action. Good morning. We think that we have a gasket that's going to work. There is this paper that comes on here that's sticky, and you're able to stick the gasket, but I think I did it wrong when I initially installed it. So this water neck has a provision for our thermostat. I think I had the gasket and then the thermostat instead of the thermostat then the gasket, so it never seated properly. Now we're going to install the thermostat into the housing and lay the gasket on top to hold the thermostat steady in its channel so that it seals up to the intake and doesn't leak. So I feel really good about that. Lesson learned there for sure. And it's time to bolt this thing back up. The bottom bolt's gonna be real fun to get in, y'all. I kinda want my headlight. This bottom bolt is giving me such a pain.
All right, cool. That's done.
You're done?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, cool. That was so easy. Crack myself up there. So babe, this bottom bolt, after I messed with it, I was like, you do that bottom bolt. He's like, okay. And when he got it finished, he's like, we should shoot something funny like you did it. That was so easy. Okay, I think we should put some more coolant in this thing and hope that it doesn't leak back out. Do you guys have any stories of learning the hard way when you were learning, or even current times whenever you know better and you just make mistakes? Post those stories below. I would love to read them.
So I think we're ready to start our tuning process.
Okay, fire our handheld up.
Yeah.
So turn our key on.
Turn the key on, yeah.
Okay.
Spin and see if we get tack.
It's cranked up! Wow, you guys, she runs. We made that look easy, didn't we? Yeah, it wasn't very easy. We ran into a handful of hiccups along the way. All of them, of course, self-inflicted. On the next episode, you'll see a more in-depth look at cranking up the Bronco for the first time on our Holley EFI system. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Also, you may have noticed that we have new wheels and tires and fender flares and some polish work. That is also coming up on a future episode. Good morning. What an awesome night we had cranking up the Bronco. There are always so many lessons to learn when you build stuff in your shop and learn as you go. And we certainly learned a lot last night. It was such a good feeling hitting that key and hearing it fire up. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. We love and appreciate each of you, even if it's just a like, a subscribe, and a comment. That means the world to us. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time.